Welcome back to Katowice, IEM, the World Championships, the end of the Season 10 Roadshow. If you missed the match that's just happened, it was emotional, and the reason was, if you look behind me, you can see Virtus.pro, who have just lost to Tempo Storm. Now, I did want to chat to Taz, but if you look at Taz, he isn't looking the sort of mood to be chatted to right now, because the atmosphere in the room when they lost, well, it was one of shock. There was a sharp intake of breath for two reasons. One, because Tempo Storm, the second Brazilian team, and it really has been the tournament of the Brazilians, they really shocked everyone by winning that matchup. And the second one is the fact that because we are in Poland, Katowice is in Poland, this is the outer courts before we head on to the main stage in the Spodek, which starts tomorrow for the semis and the quarterfinals. Everyone wants to see the Polish team in there because the Polish fans are amazing, and you want VP, the Polish team, to be part of it. But Tempo Storm and the rest of the Brazilians have just been absolutely fantastic, which makes this next matchup absolutely fascinating, which will be Tempo Storm taking on EnVyUs. And Dupree from Astralis, you've had a great tournament so far today, 4-0, just one game left to go. Did you see that coming from Tempo Storm?
No, I didn't. But you shouldn't underestimate them. They have been playing really solid. I think they've done some pretty good results here, even though they have only... Well, they were really close winning phase as well. They probably should have. But they've been playing really good compared to like people might have expected them not to do so well, but yeah, I'm impressed.
Well, the last team you've got to play is them, and it is if they beat EnVyUs. That will come down to who goes straight through to the semi-finals and the rest of the playoff and the quarterfinals tomorrow. What do you fear about them now? How do you plan for a team that you probably hadn't heard of that much before this tournament?
Just like pretty much any other team we haven't met before, just don't give them too much respect, but also give them the respect that you just don't, like, just play as you usually do, but just don't show them too much respect. And then again, yeah.
It was an odd atmosphere as well when the Polish team, VP, who you do always want to see a home team in a home event, it was an odd atmosphere, isn't it? But there was a lot of people, a lot of Polish people who were working here. The atmosphere was slightly somber for a while.
Yeah, I'm really sure that the Virtus.pro thing is a huge disappointment. I think they're pretty confident that we're going to win that match and everyone else around. But Tempo Storm just showed up and played a really good game, and that's what's happening when people hit their shots and you maybe underestimate them a little bit. So they just played really well, but right now it's a huge disappointment for pretty much, obviously Virtus.pro, but also all their fans. I'm pretty 100% sure.
Okay, listen, EnVyUs can't hear us right now. They're about to play Tempo Storm. Who's winning it?
Tempo Storm.
Yeah.
No, they're not. No, because that means we're not going to go in the semi. Well, so EnVyUs is going to win. Then we're going to the semi.
All right.
It's like, whatever.
Who do you think's going to win it?
Well, I do think that EnVyUs is going to win it. Not to be biased or anything like that. I would like to see the Brazilian teams do very well. But we have it on. If let's say that Tempo Storm ends up winning, we still have it's in our own hands to actually go first seed in this group by beating them ourselves. So it's to me it doesn't matter that much, but I think EnVyUs is going to win.
Well, listen, you've been looking very, very good. So lots of food for thought right now. Let's hand it back over to Matthew on the desk.
Thank you so much, Orange Juice. It's yeah, I mean, this is a pretty important game, as we already mentioned. EnVyUs versus Tempo Storm, and Tempo Storm a chance to not only secure a third win, which puts them in a good spot to make the quarters, leaves them in contention to actually top the group if they beat Astralis later in the day. That's a bit of a reach and further down the line, but goes to show you how well they've been playing today. And Envy haven't exactly been convincing. They lost to Virtus.pro, who we just saw get obliterated, and they struggled against Astralis as well.
You know what I want to see? Is what Envy does in their veto system, right? In the veto process, because they veto the same maps that Virtus.pro does, right? So in theory, we could see a replay of Cobblestone. So will Envy, seeing how Tempo Storm just crushed VP on that map, alter their veto system to play something else?
Yeah, that would be interesting, because that's the route you can often see the better teams with deeper map pools, essentially take, is where they just ban out the weaker maps of their opponents. So yeah, that will be pretty curious, because we've at times seen that Envy has a little bit questionable decision making in the veto process sometimes.
And looking at their veto is Dust 2, Inferno, and Overpass. So what are they going to leave out? Because Tempo Storm played really well against FaZe on Dust 2.
Yep.
They beat T-Frag on Inferno. So, are they going to leave out Overpass? And that's a tricky map to leave out if the opposing team is good on it. Yeah. It's not a map like Dust 2 where you can, even if you're not practicing it that much, it's a pretty, simple map, easy to play even in a puggish style. So, what do you think?
I think it's going to be Cobble. I told you before we even started. I think Envy's going to be happy with that one since they're good on it.
The teams are actually in the veto process now, so before we speculate any further, we'll let them conclude that process by going to a pre-recorded interview. We've already heard from Peacemaker a few times with OJ, but I want to hear specifically what they thought coming into this tournament and how they fared their chances.
Fallen has been helping us a lot, not only him, but all the LG guys. They live across the street with us in California, Lancaster, and we always talk about Counter-Strike. We're sharing experience together, and they help us to improve a lot in the game. We feel pretty confident. I mean, we're still a new team. We've been together for like 3 months. We didn't practice a lot against European teams. We didn't have the opportunity yet. But I think that our style maybe are going to get them in trouble because we are aggressive and maybe they're not used to it. So we're confident. We're going to study our opponents. I mean, we still have to learn a lot, and that's our main goal for this tournament. I mean, learn a lot and improve as well. If you take a map against EnVyUs, against Astralis or Virtus Pro, I mean, all the good teams that are in our groups, and they are definitely the favorites because of their experience. They've been together longer than us. So if you take maps against them and qualify from the groups, that's what I'm going to take home, and I'm going to be very happy.
So there we go, Peacemaker coming into this, obviously talking about Fallen's influence. Right now, they're actually kind of interestingly in a position that we kind of saw Luminosity, Kaboom, Keyd Stars, whatever they were at this point in time last year. And it's a similar situation that they're now the kind of the spoiler team right now. They're picking up these maps here and there off of the top teams, and now they have to be considered as a threat from in these tournaments for these guys.
Well, you know, I don't think so in a BO3. Well, I mean, they look good, but
same as Luminosity then, though, right? Remember before they made the roster changes?
Yeah, but Luminosity before they made the roster changes were the same team who could win best of ones, but could never do it in a BO3. And then they made these changes and they started racking them up. But I mean, you're right. This is a kind of a tendency of these Brazilian teams with this practice schedule that they kind of have instituted. Them in LG, they improve so quickly. They learn so much from every tournament they play in. So yeah, moving on. I mean, it's just really surprising to see. For me, Tempo Storm hitting this level, it's kind of like bittersweet because it's really, really awesome. But where was this last week when you were trying to qualify for the major?
Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, it's cool. It's awesome to see these guys, and I want to see them improve, and they're an exciting team to watch. They have some really cool players. But, like, that's going to be the next step, is being consistent from tournament to tournament.
Now, we do know the map. They did conclude the veto process while we were watching the interview with Peacemaker. Turns out it is Mirage. I wonder how you knew that, Janko.
Yeah, I actually managed to check it on my lovely Acer Predator monitor laptop here, right? I have it written out now, so it was actually, you know, I think it was maybe a bit of a blunder from Tempo Storm because they decided to veto Overpass. So I don't know if they played the map as much because that's something that, you know, EnVyUs would veto as well.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure because often from seeing them in leagues, it's normally in North America, the maps are generally decided, so we haven't seen them too much in events with the veto process.
Yeah, but looking into Mirage, right, it's famously the map where Henny got 45 kills in regulation against Cloud9.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. That's congratulations.
Still,
online,
against
Cloud9,
any team.
we're going against EnVyUs here.
Against any team, getting 45 kills in regulation. For me, that's pretty impressive.
It is impressive. It is cool. But I mean, let's just say this is against EnVyUs. This is going to be on LAN. This is for big pressure. This is to potentially get into the arena tomorrow. You've got Kenny S going against you, not Skadoodle, who's not hit his greatest form recently. I mean, there's a lot of different variables in this matchup. So, I mean, and he better throw that 45 out the window. He better not be overconfident because of that.
He did show up a little bit in the last game, a little bit more than he has been on LAN as of late. So that's one thing to note. Mirage, let's just talk where we kind of figure the two game styles meet up. We don't have a lot of time, but EnVyUs Mirage isn't a map we think of right off the top of our heads for their map pool either. So
I mean, it wasn't, but then I mean, recently, maybe a couple of months ago, they started playing it a lot. They even got maps off of really good Mirage teams like maybe Navi, Astralis here and there, and so on. VP just in Pro League, even though VP is a slump, they've always been really strong on Mirage. So even though we saw a great performance from Tempo Storm on Cobble, I think I agree with Jason that EnVyUs is a whole different beast on Mirage, and I'd have to side with EnVyUs on this one.
All right, so you threw me the prediction right away as well. So EnVyUs, Mirage, what are your thoughts, Jason?
I'm taking EnVyUs to this one as well. I think it's just a little bit too much to overcome. I want them to put up a good fight, obviously. I don't want to see them just get blown out. And I think that's definitely the thing. I think even with Envy not hitting the greatest form today, they've struggled quite a bit. I think Envy's still going to win it, but I think there are going to be chances, there are going to be opportunities for Tempo Storm to potentially cause an upset if Envy, once again, maybe they come out slow. Maybe they drop the ball, maybe they get into these force buy habits, which we saw in their second train match where they were force buying a lot, and it did work out in the end because they eventually got that reset. But if Tempo Storm can hold off that that wave of force buys and eventually force them into a save, then all of a sudden you've racked up 4 or 5 easier rounds than normal.
Interesting stuff. By the way, the last two predictions you made were wrong, and the last time you predicted EnVyUs, Jason, you were also wrong. So perhaps Tempo Storm have a chance in this. But thank you guys so much for your thoughts after I roast you. I'm going to leave you there in the dust and throw it back over to my husband, apparently. Yes, we did slip away and have a nice little eloping wedding. And the guy who's trying to steal him away, Machine. The love machine at that.
The love machine.
Indeed,
I,
I
like
mean,
that.
yeah, I am a love machine, but I respect your matrimony, and I'm going to allow you.
I don't know, man. I'm getting tempted.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That game was good. We had
Yeah.
fun with that one. It was Cobble, and now we're going to have equally, if not more fun with Mirage. The desk has made their thoughts abundantly clear. Envy did just win the knife, so they have the choice of side. But Henry, we haven't heard your opening thoughts on this one. You've just seen the form tempo we're in.
This is the thing, like in terms of individual skill and there's basic fundamentals of Counter-Strike and exchanging kills and opening up bomb sites, they looked fantastic. Henny turned up as well, and they got 13-2 there on the T side of Cobble. That's a very impressive feat against the likes of Virtus Pro. Going up against EnVyUs now, a different kettle of fish, I'd say, like recent form, I'd say, or even though VP have taken them down. Excuse me, I am dying.
It never works like that, though. It never works in that kind of CS triangle, like he beats him so they can beat them. I mean, of course.
This is the thing. So EnVyUs, this is actually the map we saw them drop against Astralis at Barcelona recently, right? So this is actually, there are some weak points for them, and they obviously we have Kenny S, the second best AWPer in the world, like shout out to Guardian. Yep. And going up against Henny, that's like the guys are saying, this is where he got the 45 frags against Cloud9 online. But I don't think he's going to have such an easy run going up against Kenny S.
No, I think that's going to be something we're going to keep our eyes locked on, especially in Mirage, where you can, more often than not, see more of these AWP battles, depending on
what is the
whether
thing?
you choose to take it.
In terms of like EnVyUs on this map, this is Happy's like playground, right? On the T side especially, he's so good at the lurk roll on this map. Like we see him doing on Cobble, like controlling that drop down area. On this map, it's Palace. Happy is so dangerous in Palace. Like every single round you see him going there. And it's the thing, even though most teams know he's doing it, like no one seems to know how to counter him really. Like he's so good at the timings, he's so good at getting distractions and finding opening kills. Right. That's what's so great about him. And Kenny S is great as well at being dynamic on that CT side. I think they will be starting CT. They won the knife. He's so good at changing his position up, going towards B, going towards middle, going to connector, going for aggressive kills in Palace as well. That's going to be a really massive factor going in here, whether Tempo Storm can actually lock them down and kind of sway him off a little bit.
And do we fall to that same kind of cliche where you say, Tempo, if you do want to pick up this best of one, it is a best of one, and that scene has been set. We know the power that other Brazilian sides, of course, they've talked about Luminosity in the Kaboom era, the power in best of ones. It does look like we're going into it. All right, so it does begin a must-win for Envy, equally as much for Tempo Storm. And the fact that they could win this and then proceed to top their group is mind-boggling.
That's crazy. Even after losing the phase, they could still win the group. They beat Astralis in the next game. They're actually in contention for #1. But here we go then. We'll have a look at the buy coming in. Once again, quite a heavy utility-based buy from Tempo Storm. So we've got 3 sets of armor, 2 smokes. That normally dictates you going towards the A site, Alex. So you'll do a smoke towards the steps, smoke towards jungle, flash over, and the thing is, EnVyUs don't really have anything to hold them off. They have full sets of armor here, and it's quite a fast approach from the Brazilians.
Yeah, the nades are going to rain out. It's going to come down to, well, it was Apex. He's gone. Keo, though, quick to respond, but just for a second, because look at the power of these nades. Double HE coming out, as we do see Showtime connect onto Keo, finishing the job of his teammate, and now just 3 members of Envy. They're on the retake. The bomb's already down. Tempo have looked fantastic off the back of these smokes, and you can see Envy just trying to find a way back in. 2 players approaching from that connector area, but look at Kenny go. He's taken 2 heads clean off. He's handing out haircuts. Tempo gone. NBK's doing as well, and that's going to be the end of the round. Tempo, everything looks so damn good in Envy. Just picking up 2 for NBK, 2 for Kenny, and that exchange towards CT just should not have happened.
Phenomenal stuff there from Kenny S. Very calm and control. Headshots on the USP. I discussed this on the desk before. We actually, in a previous game, when you get the bomb down on Mirage, it's normally more viable to actually be very aggressive towards CT spawn. You normally want to take it over either jungle or CT spawning. Just kind of take away one of those risks. Right. And it seems like they faced 1 by 1 towards Kenny S, and he had an absolute field day finding the headshots. NBK comes in as well, P2000, and finds to himself a beautiful retake after losing that initial frag. And Tempo Storm get the bomb down, so they're going to be not waiting for the AKs in the third. They're going all in right now. Tech 9s, armor, smoke grenades, you name it, they purchased it. And they're actually looking like they're favoring towards the B site here. They've got smoke grenades, but they're actually going to be getting smoked out themselves here. So looking at the EnVyUs buy, 3 rifles, no kits again, and 2 SMGs. So let's see how this one goes down as Tempo Storm make the move.
Yeah, they are about to just swarm into the B side. It does look like NBK's going to make the smart decision to just back up, try and play for the retake, but already he only takes 1. That's a poor investment for his rifle, and the retake does begin. Tempo, they've got the bomb down again. Things feel very familiar to that pistol round, but they have to do better here. They're already taking a whole lot of damage. But Lucas, what was that? High into the sky, and actually does take Kenny down a bit of revenge, perhaps, from that CT exchange in the prior round. But now look at this, it's coming together. Now all just onto Keo, he's gone as well, and Tempo win rounds out of what felt like nothing. Yes, they got the bomb down. NBK was forced off at the back of those smokes. It was Tempo kind of throwing a bit of a curveball, Henry.
That's what I'm talking about that aggressive play. Once you get the bomb down, getting in their faces, and it just seemed like it was so stifling towards the CTs. Like you said, NBK falling back, waiting for rotations from his teammates, but being smoked out, and then the rush from the Tech9s just couldn't hold it off. And there it is, Tempo Storm come back in, jumping headshots, you name it, they're doing it, and it's Lucas that opens things up for them, and they take the second round here. So EnVyUs are going to be forced buying themselves here. 5-7s, Desert Eagles, and a couple of smoke grenades as well. They're going to be stacking towards A as well. Just NBK, no scout to work with, just a pistol, alone on the B side. But you can see Tempo Storm kind of poised and ready for this. They're going to be holding up very passively, waiting for any CT aggression to come in. And so far, just going to be NBK facing towards Shore, gets away with his life though.
It does indicate that Tempo are not coming into this one scared, not intimidated by the name, by the history that surrounds the Frenchman. Instead, they
it kind of like, it's a very aggressive move, right? Most teams will go in with that third round AK buy, kind of go and kind of hedge their bets in that fashion. But going with the Tech9s in the second round, it's a very audacious move. But when it pays off, it looks absolutely incredible. And this time, once again, Tempo Storm will be coming towards B here, and that's the opposite of where EnVyUs is stacked right now. Just NBK, he has spotted them, and the rotation should come in accordingly.
Yeah, this is kind of feeling like a bit of deja vu for NBK. Once again, he's forced into a tight spot on B. He's going to have to try and do something with just this 5-7. He is going to be towards bench, and you can see they're checking everything to Tempo, not rushing this. They don't need to get the bomb down anytime soon. There goes NBK, and now you can see immediately that's going to be the test, and they pass it with flying colors. Tempo will get the bomb down, and now this armor and 5-7 probably going to be secured and kept by EnVyUs. Whether they want to commit to this one, it's highly unlikely. Just maybe take a weapon or two away from an overextending Brazilian.
There we go then, 5-on-3. This situation is probably best for EnVyUs to save the head armor and pistols they've got. It's pretty much an impossible situation to win here. So 5-on-3, and they will just be looking for exits and hopefully maybe upgrading one of those pistols to an AK-47. But I think this is the right move. Nice clean execution there from Tempo Storm. Making their way to the B site. Perfect read there. Obviously EnVyUs stacking towards A. Just NBK on that B site. Did what he could, but only managed to do a little bit of damage there to Showtime. So CT's now just holding back very passive positions, and Tempo Storm cut out unscathed, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, I like how they exit as a unit. They're not taking any risk, not sending any kind of loose ends elsewhere, just stacking up, having a little bit of a team huddle over and towards apps, and that's going to be Tempo securing number 2. Envy then, with that preserved, Kevlar are going to try and make an impact with something. I mean, you know, we know Anders' philosophy, you have to at least buy one nade if you want a chance to win something with these pistols, and he has got himself happy. He's picked himself up a flash and that smoke. They're going to just try and take something away from Tempo, but this does feel like 3-1, and look at this pressure towards middle. They're going to try and make the drop, but Henny's already greeting them. Takes down Apex early. Henny's the one locked in towards window. I'm pretty sure he saw a glimpse of him as well, and this just looks like a very cool, calm, collected round from Tempo, or not. Look at that, Kyo. How are you still alive? Finally felt to stabilize, and the round is over before it even begun.
Indeed. Very nice mid-control there from Henny, picking up 3 kills there, locking down the connector area as well, and Happy in a horrible position now, just himself and 5 terrorists to find. He's going to be harding in towards the B site. Maybe to find one here. It does take down Showtime, but given his position away, I don't think he'll be holding on to that M4 for much longer. He's going to be spotted by Bolts, and that should be the end of him. There it is, Chris Petchoff from Bolts there to bring the scoreline to 3-1. So after EnVyUs win the pistol, losing 3 in a row after that, this is where it gets interesting now, Alex. You can see Happy not actually giving the AWP to Kenny S. That's kind of an interesting move. He's going to be taking it himself. He's actually, obviously, in previous lineups, been the main AWPer for like, these French teams, and maybe he can do something with this. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve, but it's an interesting move not to give the second best AWP in the world, as you mentioned before, not giving him the AWP.
Yeah, it does raise a couple of eyebrows, and I mean, we know Happy is a competent AWPer, there's no doubt about it, but I mean, we were talking about here, we were talking about on the desk as well, just how powerful Kenny can be with that AWP. Bolts has already opened up an account for Tempo, taking down Apex early. Kyo did trade it. Bolts early aggression, so you can just see Tempo. They want to try and get an early lead. They've got the taste of it against Virtus Pro, and now they want it again.
That's a really efficient trade, and Showtime chiming in as well. Takes down Happy. It was Bolts who just walked up lower ramp by himself. Similar plays to what he was doing on Cobble as well. Wants to find that first kill, gets a decent trade as well. Even though he dies, it still favours the terrorists heavily, and now the 4-on-3, CTs need to work out how they're going to approach the situation. No kits, and it's NBK now on the AWP. You see Kenny S.
He looks lost.
Yeah, well, he's in this connector area now, and he's going to be smoked out as well. So falling back's not really good. The option does face taking down Phelps as well. That helps out, gets the double. So all of a sudden, the man advantage lost for Tempo Storm, and EnVyUs arriving in this round.
Yeah, good to see Kenny finding his feet there, and we know that Kenny has actually been kind of increasing his performance with the rifle. Sometimes people criticized him of being, you know, a bit of a one-trick pony. Pick up the AWP, he's great. Sometimes his rifling
No, he can be great. We
Left
saw him
something
in
to the
Barcelona as
imagination,
well.
yeah.
He looked absolutely great with the rifle in some situations. I picked the AK especially on Mirage. I remember he was getting 3 or 4 kills pretty consistently, but not over yet. NBK should be spotting that player there. Simple kill for him in the end. Takes the bomb down as well. Just going to be Henny, but he seems like he's not done here quite yet as he does take down Kenny S. Still has an opportunity to get NBK as well. He's just hiding on that bomb site. And what a fantastic shot there. Taking out Kiyoshima. And now we have the final player. 1v1, NBK. Everything to play for. And it's just ring around the roses as we've got 14 seconds remaining.
It really is a battle of wit here. NBK, just 10 seconds, he knows he can play the game of survival, but also it is AWP v AWP. NBK, quite rare to see the AWP in his hands. 5 seconds, and Henny's trying everything. He's pulled the Tech 9. 4 seconds, NBK just desperately playing the angles. He's played it so well, and that is going to be around for the CT. Henny gets the kill, but Envy do get away with it in the nick of time. Nice work from NBK. Didn't have to fire a bullet to pick up that round.
So tense there.
Oh,
Henny,
okay, sweaty
3-on-1
palms.
situation there. Finds 2 stellar shots of the AWP, and his NBK, like he said, sweating on the bomb site, just hoping he can stay alive, and he does it with 1 second to spare. He brings EnVyUs into us, but they lose all of their players there. MBK didn't survive, so you can see how that reflects the purchase this round. 5 Famises, no kits, very little utility as well, so Tempo Storm definitely in contention for this round.
Yeah, and this could, of course, money screw them quite dearly for Envy. Put them back to square one, and they know that. Apex went aggressive, though, and it feels like a little bit too much of a risk taken by Apex there. Trying to make an early impact. We saw the power that Tempo possessed, but that was a nice opening flash, and look at that. Phelps just looking like a sitting duck, brings it back to a 4v4, and Envy all of a sudden do stabilize in this round.
This is the thing. As soon as you lose that first man, you need to be doing something to get it back. A decent flashbang there towards top of middle, but unfortunately for EnVyUs, bolts once again in that palace area. EnVyUs are going to find the kill back, though. 3v3, just back and forth affair in this round, and we have got control of the connector as Lucas takes down Happy, and once again it's traded. 2 versus 2 now. Kiyoshima and NBK remain.
Yeah, these trades constantly occurring across Mirage. It does feel a little bit Wall Street-esque. But 60 seconds left, and the bomb is going to be orientating itself towards Kyo's domain. Going aggressive towards ramp. Relatively predictable, you know. Tempo are going to check that. And yes, they will. There goes Kyo, and now that's an open A site. Then they feel like they know it. They're going very aggressive. And NBK's on the rotate, of course, well and truly known as that B player. You can see they're just strolling on in the smoke to enable their cross, and the bomb will be punched in by Henny any second now.
Very open plans as well. They've got a player towards City Spawn. NBK does pick up an AK-47 and somehow finds that kill through the smoke as well. Henny drops, and now it is going to be the 1v1 showtime. Going aggressive here, and it's a big play, and it pays off as well. Finds the headshot on NBK, and that's going to throw EnVyUs into despair now. Money has been reset, and what a round that was. So back and forth. EnVyUs doing everything they could to hold on, but it wasn't quite enough there. And that fade from showtime, I'm not sure it was the best move to make, but when you're landing headshots like that, who the hell cares?
Madness. NBK, I mean, him hitting shots like that, already raising a couple of eyebrows. What on earth? We are only into round 7, and already we've seen fantastic work from both sides of the, I was going to say arena, still in the basketball courts now.
Yeah, well,
Calm myself down.
that's all it's all about. We can see actually a force buy here from EnVyUs. It's not even a partial. They've actually got NBK and Apex fully investing into this. Kyo and Happy not far behind as well. So all to play for here. They have got 5.7s and P250s and a smoke grenade. And it's interesting that Happy and NBK have gone for head armor as well. Potentially could have got a little bit more utility. Obviously against the AK, it's not really too valuable to have head armor here. But let's see how it works out for them. Not going to be committing too heavily yet, Tempo Storm. But we can see EnVyUs have gone for that 4-man stack towards A once again. And Tempo Storm has been very passive here, waiting to see if there's any aggression coming out so far from the CTs. But it's been a very quiet round so far.
There's no doubt that the Tempo are aware of Envy's force buy culture. They are so into the kind of, you get reset, you get back up again, you dust yourself off, you throw on some Kevlar on a 5.7 and give it your best shot. And at this point, that A stack, it looks like it could be paying dividends for Envy. Look at that. That's a whole lot of blue, and there's a big T wave about to crash up against it. There's a whole lot more nades there, and I can't help but look at that one flash for Apex and think, how much are you really going to do with that?
This is the thing, it all comes down to this opening frag. It's Heavy coming in with the AWP, but it's Kiyoshima to take down Bolts. This could get interesting now. Molotov to take him out of position. Comes back down to the 4-on-4. They're going to be aware there's probably a stack going on right now. They still, actually, they really don't have time. It's going to be difficult for them. MBK making things uncomfortable as well. It's getting to the 25-second mark. I think they've realized they can't actually go back towards B, so need to commit to this now and find this next kill.
Oh my god, Envy, they're putting Tempo into a very, very tight spot. 19 seconds, and the clock is going to be their worst enemy at this point. They have to push on. Lucas knows it. A little bit of a jump as well, as he's had to catch a glimpse of Happy trying to hide in that corner towards Firebox, and now 41 points of health for MBK. He does go down, and Lucas, the savior from Tempo, picks up 4 in the round. Tempo, I was getting so damn nervous. I thought Envy had played the clock, and I don't know how they did it with no utility. Were Tempo their worst enemy there?
That was this kind of one of those things, the Tempo Storm, they work out how to stack, they get a little bit apprehensive, it's like, okay, let's fall back to B. Then they realize, okay, actually we only have about 20 seconds remaining, we're going to have to force the situation. Lucas stepping up massively. And this is the thing, like, EnVyUs do find some interesting kills there, and MBK making it uncomfortable. As soon as he got that second frag, you saw them, okay, we need to commit now. We don't really have control of the map. We need to make a decision. But it's Tempo Storm that come out on top, and Apex going aggressive in the underpass here. It's found. There's another fantastic shot from Henny on the other side of the map as well, towards the B apartments. And this should be a pretty runaway round for Tempo Storm now. Just 2 players remain for EnVyUs, and they're going to have P250s and a Desert Eagle as well. But Tempo Storm recovering from that uncomfortable situation. It's going to be their 6th round as well. This is actually a very impressive couple of maps here for the Brazilian side.
It does, and I mean, I'm still feeling that they've got such restraint for a team of not only, you know, youngsters, but also people new to this European competitive environment. You can't help but feel you'd expect to see a few more mistakes, a few more kind of lapse of judgments, a few more kind of maybe a bit of overexcitement. But no, they seem so restrained. And against EnVy, where of course you cannot be afford to make those errors. EnVy finding a lot of their success exploiting those weaknesses. This round, however, is going to go the way of Tempo. Happy, he's going to try and take something away. Not going to get anything because Lucas again finds another. How many is that for him? 9 alongside Henny. Top of the scoreboard for his team. And we always like to address that kind of absence of frags, and I currently see 1 for Apex and 2 for Happy as well.
Well, he opened things up against Astralis today. He was very quiet on train. Like, I think he was on a 0 for 9. And then again, in the second game they had, they actually stepped it up and looked a lot stronger. But we'll see how he continues his form here. Kenny S back on the AWP. He was happy that opened things up for EnVyUs here. So back to more traditional style. I talked about Kenny S being one of those most aggressive AWPers. Changing his position up every single round. This time he'll be going towards short, looking for that first kill here. And Tempo Storm have got 3 players towards underpass as well. So not going for that heavy mid control initially. Going to be taking away that vision. Happy just in the window here. Great position here to take down Phelps as well. Should be able to get this opening frag, you would assume. There it is.
Happy guarantee for that one. Takes the head off Phelps. The advantage for EnVy is extended by Kenny. Nice work from him towards short. He was so passive. Henny was actually expecting someone going aggressive on short, but Kenny held his nerve. And now all of a sudden this round, wow, Showtime paid a heavy price for that kill onto MBK. But look at Lucas, he's managed to walk all the way through, and it does eventually connect. Just 4 bullets left in the magazine, still breathing, albeit with just a fraction of health for his teammate.
I'm trying to wonder what Kirishima was going through his head there. Like, why, like after you've lost a kill in middle and Kenny S has fallen back, why are you actually just thinking connect is not even a possibility? It hasn't been smoked off, he's got his back to it. And it comes down to a 3-on-3. There's a great initial lead they had. You'd assume the CDs go back to a very passive setup there, but given 2 kills away, now Happy jumping out the window trying to react. We've got Kenny S in the B apartments, all to play for now. Going to be Molotov out of position as well. Needs to hit the shot. He doesn't. He gets taken down. Happy does find Lucas though, and it comes down to another 2-on-2 here.
Yeah, it's going to be after plan. They can get that bomb down safe. It's going to be a question of where do you put a 14 HP Showtime, and what can you do, Bolts? Oh, the molly doesn't quite sneak into Kitchen. That was definitely the target of that one. Gives Apex a little bit more room to maneuver. They are going to be pincering in. Happy coming from the apps area, and now with that extended bomb timer as well, EnVy can just take their time. Extra 5 seconds to toy with. Apex encroaching on towards a full HP. Bolts and Legos. Bolts doing just Bolts things. Showtime catches Happy from short, and that's another for Tempo. Ooh. Okay, where's that money, EnVy? Looks like they're paying quite a heavy price.
Yeah, this is the thing. They get those opening 2 frags as well, but what a blunder from Kirishima. No real reason for him not to be thinking about the connector area whatsoever. The player is walking in there, and actually...
My theory
go on.
Is that
like
a bit of a lapse of communication, yes, but he saw Kenny get that shot on short and just assumed Kenny was going to continue to make some sort of mid-presence.
Well, this is the thing. Like that, you can't be making these kind of
assumptions.
mistakes, right? This is that's absolutely crazy that Kirishima gave that kill away and potentially the round as well, but... Here we go then, another eco for the French side, and Kenny S catching Bolts, flicking between his knife and his AK there. Lucas does rectify the mistake, but Kenny S has picked up the AK-47. It's going to be a 4-on-4, but still heavily favours Tempo Storm. You can see EnVyUs haven't really got too much to work with. 1 flashbang and some deagles, and of course that AK-47 on Kenny. But this is looking very hot for Tempo Storm.
T-side Mirage and to already have 7.
Yeah,
it's
strong.
just, and against a world-class team like EnVy.
And after losing the pistol as well.
The first time these teams have met, and already Tempo are making a very strong case for success here on Mirage. There's always going to be a little bit of air of excitement when you see a Brazilian team on Mirage, of course, after that kaboom.
Sure. Constant
Presence on this map alone.
Well, we have 1 minute remaining. There's kind of right in the time right now. Still have lots of utilities. You can see 2 smokes, Molotovs. That'll just be slowly but surely dissecting the map here, trying to flush out any CTs. There's the first one to get dropped. It's MBK. We still have Happy boosted up on the side though, but with the Desert Eagle, it's not really the most effective position to be in. It's going to spot 1 player. Showtime doesn't see him just yet, but he's hoping he'll face. But Showtime is killing his teammates towards the kitchen area as well. Happy hoping this position is going to pay off. And here's his opportunity. It's a lovely headshot though to make things happen. But Lucas does neutralise the situation now. Kenny S with picked up AK-47. We'll just be running through that fire. We'll find 1 kill here, but given his position away, and should be dealt with, I would say, very quickly. It did get a little bit uncomfortable there for Tempo Storm, but they get round number 8. EnVyUs should be able to buy this round, I assume. Yeah, they got about 6k on the board, so this is where they need to start turning it on. Double orb setup this time. A change of pace for them, so Happy and KennyS holding those weapons.
I just want to address the, I mean, we highlight Henny, we highlight Bolts, these names stand out to us for Tempo Storm, but Lucas, not only on Cobble, but even on Mirage here, 2 games back-to-back for him, and he has been so very, very consistent. And actually, it feels like entries as well. These frags hold a whole lot of weight in towards the success for Tempo. Going aggressive. Look, let's stick on board with Phelps. He's just charging through middle, and he's going to be able to make a big impact kill here if he does continue to go unnoticed. In the meantime, you can see Lucas holding the back. Trying to keep Phelps safe as they do just come through. This is a beautiful wrap. This feels very Luminosity-esque as they just kind of converge on towards the A site. Keo, however, has made 2 huge frags. Apex is going to get another one here. They weren't anticipating that aggressive play towards Smoke. Bolts bites back, but is the damage done by Envy? Because look at that. Just 12 points of health for Bolts. He's going to recover some utility and the bomb, but still so much time, and Envy can just work this one out.
Nice kill there from MBK to seal the deal here. Just Bolts remains with the AK. He's on towards Tetris so far, but there it is. Happy takes him down. So after Kiyoshima, with that blunder on the last gun round, he does rectify his mistake and get the double kill and connected there. I like the idea from Tempo Storm there. They've seen that as a little bit of a weakness for EnVyUs potentially there. So they're smoking offshore, getting up there quickly, and it was just Kiyoshima stepping up from the bomb side there and finding those 2 kills. That did buy enough time for the rotation to come in, and they keep that double orb set up as well. So a chance now to build some money, but still in a dangerous situation. That's the first round. Need to get a couple in a row here. Good news is they kept decent numbers alive there. I think it was 3 players alive. Yeah, so it didn't come down to a full clutch situation, so at least that helps boost the economy a little bit.
And that's definitely what EnVyUs are hunting for at this point in time. We are going to be seeing Kenny present in window, something he's actually kind of rather absent from. They are leaving Happy more so to hold it close quarters for that underpass area, but look at this, they're anticipating it. Lucas has already got a whole lot of freedom in middle. Henny's holding his hand, keeping it locked in, and that's going to be Lucas winning it out. Kenny couldn't quite hit the flick of the wrist. Not enough.
Wow, that's a massive scalp to take. KennyS not even smoked out, getting his head ripped off there by Lucas. You said it, he's having an incredible couple of maps there, and he continues his form. MBK, they're trying to find a frag back here, showing a little bit of aggression towards shore, but not really much to work with. Lucas still hungry for more though. He will be facing, and now the CT's trying to react to this. You can see they're rotating back towards A as well. Just MBK on short, the only presence towards B.
This mid take is so brutal from Tempo. They just have so much control. You can actually see Envy almost cower, quaking in their boots as Tempo just take full control. It's like goodbye Kenny and hello mid control. 40 seconds, it does look like they've made the decision towards B, and I think Envy are starting to coin onto this one. You can see that CT player on the minimap is on his way as well. The flash comes in to delay them. 35 seconds, Happy's taking down Lucas. That's that powerful entry frag and presence gone, and they're going to keep going now. Bolts has cooked his teammate alive. Tempo however do bite back. Oh, Happy a second. Now can he find the third? Not quite, whistles past the gear, and Bolts has just pulled his team straight back into this one. 2 versus 1. Apex is going to have to play for the afterplant.
Yeah, he's had a very quiet game so far, 2 frags, but this one would mean everything he can find it. He finds the first kill onto Bolts as well, but it's going to be Henny that secures the round. Number 9 there. Alex is about to fall off his chair in excitement. Are you okay?
I'm okay. My heart's a little bit of a jump. Okay.
What a moment. That's crazy, and that's just going to be so frustrating for EnVyUs. I said they weren't out of the woods just yet, and Happy doing everything he can. He gets the no-scope. That shot towards short, though, had he have hit it, that's the round secured, but wasn't meant to be. And Henny winning another clutch here, and that's reset the economy once more for EnVyUs. 9 plays 3, and just some pistols, and a little bit of body armor for Apex and Happy as well. So they have about 2k right now. They're going to get 1900 next round. It would be a very weak buy going into it if they were to buy next round. So let's see what they can bring here. Happy with the head armor as well. This kind of works against Showtime's Mac 10, but that's about it. As we enter round number 13 now.
9 rounds on T side. Tempo looking so damn good. And I love that Showtime has had the audacity to pick up the Mac 10. He's definitely got a firm read, as you've already highlighted.
It just means he can go into like the bomb side first. We've seen EnVyUs stack towards the A site, and it was a little bit of a problem. They can send him in first. If he finds a stack, that's the call straight away. He can probably kill one and call there's a stack there, and then giving away the Mac 10 against armored players is not very effective. But Kenny has a little gap in the smoke here. Does manage to do... Oh, actually, did he do any damage? No, he actually didn't. It looked like he actually landed a headshot, but Lucas once again bests him there, and that's the Mac 10 doing some work. MBK going down to 7 HP. Showtime probably wants to go into this site, and all his teammates looking like they'll be entering towards the A bomb site.
Yeah, Scout Showtime is also going to be a bit of a distracting tactic, keeping MBK and another player busy towards Kitchen, causing what is essentially a 4 versus 2. Phelps trying to break through onto Keo. We know that there is going to be a little bit of caution aired towards Keo after the power he did possess, holding that connector area before. Showtime full B control, and the bomb's going to be making its way there as well. They're feeling good, but Happy feeling better. Takes the head off Showtime with the Deagle. He's been picking that up more and more so. We know the power of Happy. with that particular weapon. 20 seconds and Tempo Storm are just dissecting what remains of Envy.
Not really many options here. Happy did find one kill, and it's going to be Kiyoshima with the USP taking down Phelps, and at this point, it's just going to be saving that weapon. And he's going to be taken down there. Another lovely shot there from Henny. Headshot with just about a pixel to work with as Kiyoshima was retreating there. And it's going to be 10 plays 3 now. And as I said before, the money is still in dire straits here for EnVyUs. 3 Famases, no kits, Kenny S on the glass cannon AWP. This is looking desperate now. They have got 4 smokes to play with, but no incendiaries, so another round you have to favour towards Tempo Storm. The only good news for EnVyUs is that Lucas just has that Galil in hand, so let's see how this one goes down. Really committing towards the B apartments once again. There's no real aggression coming in from EnVyUs so far. We can see Kenny S once again going towards short this time. Has been struggling with the window area, so heading in towards ladder room and seeing if he can find the first pick here.
And this is just EnVyUs kind of attempting to find something towards middle. They've been having issues with it time and time again. And look at Showtime here, a little bit of a duel with NBK. NBK is going to be burnt out though, and look at that, he's cooking to a crisp. That's going to be medium rare. Wow. And that's one Frenchman gone.
Indeed, NBK giving his position away early, and there's a bit of a risk from Showtime to pull out the Molotov. NBK could have faced at any time, but the timing's work in his favour, and they get the 5-on-4 advantage once again. Comes down to Kenny S holding B by himself at the moment, just watching those windows and trying to get that first frag before calling in for the rotations. And you can see Tempo Storm just working out where they're going to go with this. 3 players towards the top of middle so far, and that's actually really viable because Kenny S obviously rotated alone on B. Happy smoked out of that position and granted him a kill before, and they're going to go in for the B split right now.
Yeah, Tempo, they just seem to, I mean, I kind of cringy to say, but they do seem to definitely have a real hold on the tempo of the round. They completely dictate the pace, and this is going to be now Kenny trying to do something. It's going to be nothing. Happy, however, to spring to life with 2, just the 2. As now the bomb will be going down unless Kyo can do something very influential. He's got the double flash. Phelps trained on his location though. Has been made a 2v2, and I'm starting to worry about Apex's position because there's 2 very blind Brazilians, and it is going to be the double for Apex. Envy needed that one to just claw something back before the change of the half, and that will be the 4th for French.
Well, there we go. They had no kits to work with, and Apex probably can't believe his luck. The perfect flash coming in from Kiyoshima, both players affected by it, and he comes in for the easy spray gun in the back. Like you said, a round they desperately need there. Once again, losing that first pick with the Famases and no real utility as well. One they desperately needed brings them into 10 plays 4, and here's the replay on your screen right now. You can see no one really thinking the short was a possibility, but Apex, and a very difficult game so far. That gives him 5 frags here, but 2 of the most important, I would say, considering that he gives them their 4th round and something to work with at least. Another double orb setup coming in for EnVyUs now. And MBK on the mag 7. He obviously plays towards B, so still a viable weapon in that situation. It looks like a full AXQ coming in.
Yeah, and something we haven't seen. We haven't seen from Tempo at all, really. This is going to be one of the first instances of this A take. You can see, look how much Envy are investing towards middle. Now they do rotate. There's 2 players towards connector are going to be ready and waiting. Apex makes the call, prepares himself for that push towards Sandwich. He's still got eyes on Palace as well, as Tempo do push forward. And huge investment of their nades, but look at this positioning from Apex, just the one. He's blind, he's backing away into a corner, and Tempo Storm are trying to take control. In fact, Showtime's trying to get the bomb down through thick and thin. They try, but now just onto Lucas. He's already got 2. He would have to ace this round to stop that 5th round going the way of Envy, but NBK's having none of it.
There we go then. It's been a very difficult half for EnVyUs, but they managed to pick up the final 2 rounds there. Just never really got going here. They win the pistol, then they got force-balled after that. They win their first gun round, and then they lose a subsequent round. Never really got some footing into it, but they come to life in the last 2 rounds there. And it's going to be Kiyoshima, who are actually leading the charge on 11 frags, looking pretty strong towards the end. Him and Apex with that clutch in the 2-on-2 situation definitely helped here. And EnVyUs, a team strong enough to come back from this. Obviously, it was a very difficult half, but they've done enough. 5 rounds is definitely workable on their T side. If they win the pistol, they're right back in this.
And I can't help but, I mean, kind of rewind the clock over to that 2nd round from Tempo.
Sure,
and
the
fact that they picked that one up, a huge offensive on towards B, enabling a scoreline like that to perhaps come about, as well as, of course, very, very cool, calm, collected work from Tempo.
So very similar buy here. Look like almost a mirror strategy coming in from EnVyUs. The smokes towards steps, the smoke towards steps, the smoke towards jungle. Go in, and I'd assume they'll be a little bit more aggressive towards spawn. We saw Kenny S capitalizing last time. And look at the setup from the Brazilians here. Actually 4 players towards B, so this will be easy pickings here for the French side.
Yeah, so they're kind of accidentally now going to have to play for the retake. Bolts is backing up. He realizes he needs to wait for his compadres to join him. And they're taking the long route as well. I can see a player going all the way through T-spawn. He's going to approach ramp, albeit with a little bit of lack of time to spare. Envy all stacked up on the site now. Bolts is the first to approach. Lucas has already taken the head off Apex, but this is actually starting to go all right for Tempo, because look at them, they keep filling up the kill feed. Now just 2 remain. Kenny's already low, down to 4 points of health. He's going to get pressured by Phelps, takes his head off, bit of overkill there, and all onto Happy. He makes his whereabouts known, and now they're just going to hunt him down. 3 players all going for the retake, and this is looking awful for Happy. The bomb will be defused. They even had a kid in the form of Phelps. And Tempo Storm, an investment of 4 players over towards B, and they don't have to pay any sort of price for it. Envy, they had full control of A, and it just gets taken away from them by Tempo.
It's kind of crazy, right? That you get 4 players towards B. It's a full AXQ. Pretty fast one as well. Bomb goes down.
Mad.
And you come in. This is obviously that extra 5 seconds paying dividends here for the CT.
Yeah.
They're coming in, and they still have plenty of time to work with. Full retake, and it's Apex actually holding T-Spawn. How do you find that frag? I think that round will be shut down. As soon as he gets wrecked in that sort of situation, obviously the terrorists in a very difficult point there. They're going to be pincered from all angles, and now we can see the exact same buy coming in from EnVyUs. Losing the pistol, going towards A with the Tech 9s, full smokes as well. They're going to be trying to get the bomb down and make things as uncomfortable as possible. We can see, look, Henny's got into the B apartments. He's got to call this nice and early as well. So rotation should come in. There it is. CT's rotating from B, and here comes the execute from EnVyUs.
Tempo look ready for this one. They're poised and ready and already. Keo has caught a nade. Envy, they're running out of nades fast. It's just going to be happy. Then Mr. Utility's trying to do something. Kenny's going to try and get the bomb down, but Phelps is having none of it. And Envy, they've invested so much into this round. I can't help but feel this is going to be a whole lot of risk. Trying to find that reward, trying to find that 6th round early. Tempo not out of the woods yet, though, because that bomb hasn't gone down, but there's still so much time for Envy to play with. They can pick at these CTs. Already taking a bit of a beating. Look at Bolt's health.
They managed to take down Apex there. He was the one to try to salvage the bomb, but you can see it's quite an equal situation. 2 on 2. One player very low HP for either side, but bomb's still not planted. Happy. And then BK trying to make this work. I mean, you can see both CD players towards CD spawn. Happy now doesn't really have much to work with. All the utility has been expended. He's making his way towards CD spawn, and this is the kill that really matters. Where's the teammate facing? And there it is. Finally, Bolts comes in, and Tempo Storm somehow managed to stay alive there. It was the full execution, and this, stopping that bomb being planted was so important there. We saw it from the beginning of Tempo Storm. They pushed towards the B apartments. Very early aggression there. Like, just to get some information, that was so important as well. And unfortunately for EnVyUs, not getting a bomb plant there, and did manage to get a couple of kills. It's going to bring them down to a very difficult situation. Desert Eagles and some P250s, that's about it. Not the same sort of situation we saw from Tempo Storm.
I've been so cautious to say it, Henry, but it's time for a reminder. A reminder that Tempo Storm, a team that this is kind of their first battle on European soil, now have an opportunity to top their group should they win this game.
Absolutely. If they take up Astralis, this is it. But this game is not over yet. We can see if there's any more twists and turns. So far, it's going to be pretty smooth sailing for Storm. They're taking down the first 2 frags, make it the 3rd as well. Bolt's taking down Happy. There's KDS and MBK remaining now, both towards middle, but you can see Tempo Storm is hungry for blood here. Just going to be aggressive, of course, towards middle. Just KDS remaining now. He's stuck between middle and 3 CT players. The Showtime that finishes him off. And there it is, 13 plays 5. That's pretty nuts. And we can see EnVyUs now do have cash to buy, but definitely no AWP. It's going to be 5 AKs across the board. Okay,
this is a crucial round now for Envy. They're going to be very telling of whether or not that Brazilian top of the group on both sides of the groups. 2 groups, Luminosity, in the semis already, in that position. Now, X Games Academy taken under the wing of Fallen.
This is interesting. So CTs want to take the game towards the terrorists straight away here. It's going to be a full A execute from EnVyUs, but the CTs are pushed towards middle, looking for that first bit of information. Not going to find anyone, and you'd assume they'll probably read this quite well. It's going to be an 8A coming in from EnVyUs right now.
Oh, Bolts has got to do a whole lot here. He's going to get tested with just the FAMAS, and Apex is having none of it, but already Henny delivers. Doesn't matter what weapon's in his hand at this point in time, finds his 19th kill. Here comes Lucas once again. Powerful on the T side, and looks like he's going to be equally so on the CT. Keo is back and forth. We continue to trade. Keo finally finds a double. And now all of a sudden, Showtime's the one that has to indeed pick up a very unlikely round. Bomb's going to be going down this time. No contestation. Keo, he's going to be feeding himself a very tight angle, and now 1 versus 2.
That's a really weird move for MBK. He jumps up on the bomb side boxes and gives his head towards Showtime here. 1v1, Happy, everything to play for. Has got decent position on towards the bomb. Spraying for the smoke, thinks the diffuser's coming in. Can Showtime do this? It would be a 3-on-1 situation to secure the game here. Going for the full defuse. Happy running off shots. It comes down 2, 1. He's somehow done it. It's Showtime. Let's go. He somehow defuses the bomb, and it's going to be Happy dropping that round. 3 versus 1, and I can't believe what just happened there. That's insane.
I was casting like it was already 1 for Envy. I could almost see that 6 on the board for the French, but Showtime, it is indeed Showtime for the Brazilians as 2, soon 3, as he picks up that ninja, drawing Happy into a false sense of security. The smoke winning the round there for him, and now 14. Good God, Envy, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
My God, absolutely. What can you say after something like that happens? Why are they
Nothing.
facing Tim? They've got the bomb down for Connector. Why is MBK jumping up and giving his head away? Make him work for it. You stay in that position, he faces from Connector, then you face. You're just trying to end the situation nice and early there, but what a horrible decision that was. Going to be a full buy from EnVyUs here. Lost bonus working in their favour with that bomb plant, but still, that's going to put them on full tilt after losing that one. A 3-on-1 bomb planted. I can't believe that actually just happened.
And I don't
My
think
God.
Envy can as well. They are going to throw themselves immediately back into another round and try and make something happen. You can see Phelps is preparing himself to hold on Palace. Henny's got himself a solid hold on towards Ramp, but here comes the frags for Envy. This is big. Trying to trade out is going to be showtime. As he's got one onto Kyo. He actually nearly took a second as well. That was nearly a kind of double. And there is the double. NBK feeds himself again. What on earth is this? Envy, you had the numbers and immediately they get taken away from you.
Oh, 3-on-2 now. Kenny S very low HP. Will be the one trying to plant the bomb on the A site. Happy just defending him from CT Spawn. We have got Henny waiting patiently. Doesn't want to commit to a situation, give his frag away. The plant does finally come in. 2 incendiaries for the CTs as well, so the retake going to be pretty easy for them here. Kenny S trying to do what he can in CT Spawn. Does find the first frag here, but it's replied straight away. Now Happy in the 2v1. Couldn't actually clutch out the 1v1, so a taller order here, but it means everything. This will be match point for Tempo Storm.
Yeah, and they are just going to kind of try and implement that final bit of utility. Volts is actually going to be holding this one here. Showtime's going to try and be that human shield. Happy, cautious, knows he's got to get the frag. That's one. But I think he thought he was faking it. And
Oh,
Bolts is going to
again.
get the defuse. 2 ninja defuses in a row. Happy is so angry. Apex is even more so. As
Oh no.
that is going to be so awful for Envy. I've got my head in my hands. They too. Oh, good
Oh,
God.
he crashed.
15 for Tempo.
He crashed.
Happy did?
What? We crashed as well. It didn't look like Happy crashed. It just looked like he killed one and didn't face.
He was moving, wasn't he?
I thought he
Bolts
was like kind
crashed
of
while
trying to,
ninjuring?
I thought he was, no, it's just the EnVyUs said they crashed
Yeah,
first,
but then they said we crashed as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Anyway.
let's cast this. Let's cast this as it is. As Envy do have to play the battle of survival. That 15 has been acquired, and surely not going to happen here because Tempo just have 2 to work with. Envy not out of this one yet, or are they? Because hang on, Lucas is still playing. As is Showtime, potential double. Kyo fortunately stern with his aim. Damage was done. 61 points of health remaining for him, and now Lucas is left in a rather dire situation. He did a bit of extended damage to Kenny, cutting him down to just 3, but Lucas realizing this is really probably impossible. I've learned now, after that Showtime situation, to never rule out a player, especially for Tempo Storm in this situation, but he's just going to try and keep himself and keep Envy honest. Takes the head of Happy clean off again. Happy, you can tell there's frustration in his play. It's obvious to us, as it's probably obvious to his teammates as well, as they could very well be fearing that TILT combination of letters.
Well, these last 2 rounds have been very close indeed. We had one player surviving for the last 2 rounds, so actually it's very viable for Lucas to save this weapon. Even though they've won 5 in a row, you think they'd have loads of cash. They actually don't. So they only get $1,400 coming into their bank accounts next round, average of 2K in the team. So Kiyoshima is the last player to survive, and they're going to be feeling the pressure here now. 15 plays 6. Tempo's doing one more round. They don't really need to force into this one. We saw them do it on Cobble, but with this AK, let's just try and dent the economy of EnVyUs, try and get a few kills here, make it interesting, but
I was going to say, do I need to remind you about that round?
you do.
Yeah.
On Cobble,
Yeah.
1 AWP on Henny.
1 AWP and a
somehow-
CZ.
Yeah.
And it was Lucas that got that initial with the CZ.
Well, this has been an absolute roller coaster of a game, Alex. And we've seen some incredible moments there. Like that 3v1 was absolutely nuts from Showtime. But here we go. Then we enter round number 22. Not really much for the CT to work with apart from that AK-47. It's a really decent flashbang towards Underpass. And he does manage to land a bit of damage onto Apex. But this little cubbyhole may be interesting. I was going to say they may have run past him there, but it is Apex that picks up the first 2 frags. They're taking out Bolts and potentially getting the 3rd here as well. Kenny S just snatches that away from him. And now going to be a 5-on-2. But Lucas still does have that AK. And Phelps chiming in as well with the PT-50. Why not?
Sure. Now he's just going to try and keep that AK as safe as possible. Maybe hold that tight, close angle. Expect Envy to fall into his trap, but that's going to be 7 for Envy. But the boys from Tempo just need that 1 round. We saw them hit a bit of a wall on that 14 mark over on Virtus Pro, their game against Virtus Pro on Cobble.
Yeah.
They've broken that already. They've got that 15. They've got it under their belt, and now, you know, we talked about this whole worst case scenario thing. I don't think that's even on their minds at this point. It's just, when are we going to find 16?
This is the thing. It's just, well, enviously, 9 rounds in a row. Like, it's pretty...
Especially when the way you've lost these rounds is 1v3s, silly plays. You can't help but feel their mind is not there, not present for something like a 9-round comeback.
Well, I'm not going to rule it out just yet. It's like we said before, VP just needs to do it piece by piece and
Bring back J Beebs. Never say
yeah,
never, man.
James Bond.
James Bond.
Please.
Sean Connery.
Yeah. Yeah, I love all that. Anyway, Tempo Storm here. Money's still not already recovered. I think a partial buy will be fine. Some more pistols. And don't force yourself into an unfavorable situation.
Where are you putting this AK then? Tempo
Well,
Storm.
this is the thing. Like, I would say maybe go towards Palace
Right.
and maybe go to that area and see if you can find that first kill. That would be my place to go. We know Happy plays it by himself. A lot of teams who study EnVyUs will know that, and we'll see what Phelps does with this. And I'm going to keep my vision on him. We'll see what he does. It looks like a full execute coming in from EnVyUs. They're actually going aggressive towards the round. Look at the nades out. Oh, the flashback coming in. This could be massive as well. Bolts get the first bug. Make it a double as well. And it's going to be Kiyoshima trying to rectify this horrible situation.
Oh no,
And this is it.
not like this.
Not like this. I think this is the catchphrase from yesterday, and it looks like the pistols are going to prevail. It's going to be Happy that drops, and they've done it. You can see what it means to them. 16 plays 7. Tempo Storm have done it, taking down the number 2 team in the world here. What is going on here at Katowice? There's something in the water, and it looks like the Brazilians have been drinking it because they have gone on for another sensational victory here.
Tempo can top the group. Luminosity did it yesterday. Could we really see this happen? It falls to their game against Astralis, but they have guaranteed themselves a whole lot of respect here in Poland. Envy fall, and just added to the pile, the Tempo Storm, that the trail they are leaving behind them here is truly starting to get exciting. And one man, you can see him on your screen there, Bolt's little smirk on his face as those P250 frags, they were caught with nades in their hands. What on earth just happened here in Katowice?
I have no idea, but you've got to just think back to the horror show rounds there. Showtime, 3-on-1. What was EnVyUs doing? That was like absolutely nuts. It's a 3-on-1. You've got players in Connector. You've got the bomb down for
all
Connector.
I'm thinking about is NBK jumping on that box.
Then that's
like,
the same.
Here's my head.
It didn't make any sense for him, right? Like, he can just stay in that position without facing. Like, the CT has to face towards Connector first. They can just get the call, oh, he's in the open now. Now you can face. Facing by yourself and just giving that frag away. That's such a vital round. They were so up against the wall at that stage. And it's such a horrible moment that the full defuse comes in. I think that just kind of summarized this campaign on Mirage.
Back-to-back full defuses
Yeah,
with
right,
Happy still alive.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I mean, Happy's always going to be that kind of guy that sometimes can, you know, fall off a little bit. He falls into this kind of glum mind state if things aren't going well. When you get Ninja defused 2 rounds in a row, you're not going to be feeling complete clarity of mind at the end of that.
Well, you almost fell off your chair in some of those rounds.
I did. I tell you what, this chair has got a lot of recline. I was full on, I was gone at one point. But yeah, madness really just across the board, and I have to give a whole lot of credit to Tempo, like a team that has just consistently just been growing and growing. Every single game they seem to get a little bit better, and we're going to go ahead and have a little interview now to hear just how hyped they were. Lucas jumping off his chair at one point. Let's see what OJ's got to say.
Thank you very much, Machine. That wasn't just a great win, wasn't just a brilliant win, that was a ball-busting win, an amazing win by your team.
Yeah, well, once again, we played our A game. We knew their style. I mean, we played against G2 last week, and we know that they play like G2, really aggressive. So I always told the guys, hold, calm down, and we're gonna win this. And that's what happened. We just played perfect.
You did play perfect, and if you said you brought your A game and I said, oh no, it's a triple A game, we're into 10 A's now for how you played, that means you're pretty much qualified all the way through to the semis or the quarterfinals, which is amazing for your first big tournament.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we didn't expect this, to be honest. We, of course, got prepared against any team. Like, Mirage was a great map for us, and we watched a couple of demos from them, so we knew what they were going to do. And yeah, it's just sick. I mean, can't describe in words.
Well, just try and describe for me, because watching the team there, and Alex mentioned it as well, watching Lucas jump off his chair, knowing that you had played very carefully towards then, you'd taken it slowly, you didn't force anything, you made sure you had it when you went for it, and even won on a great round. That emotion when you knew you had beaten Envy, who some call, if not the best team in the world, one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they are one of my best teams, one of my favorite teams. Yeah, it's sick. I mean, Brazilians are like that. Sick.
And it's all based on emotion, and we chatted before when I was talking to Fallen as well. I asked what Brazilian CS has, and you said it's all about that emotion. Do you think this is now a new way of playing on the emotions? Yes, calm at times, but just bringing that samba spirit.
Yeah, I mean, these emotions helps us a lot. I mean, these guys, if I don't cheer them up all the time, they get slowly, you know, they calm down and they start doing mistakes. So that's why I'm always telling them, hey, good job, and keep jumping on them and cheering them up. Otherwise, they stop playing good. So that works with us. I mean, the Brazilians always do like that, and it works for us.
Well, let's talk about Astralis, who you'll be playing up next. Astralis 4-0, haven't lost to anyone yet. We know at times they can choke. That's a well-known storyline, that at times they get towards the end of tournaments, the end of games, they might not finish it off. I spoke to Dupree, and there was a little look in his eye that he might be worried about you.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we upset VP, we upset Envy. They, of course, they were watching our matches, so they know how we were playing, and they are a great team. I mean, it's gonna be hard battle.
Okay, give me a score prediction. You against Astralis.
I think we're gonna win 16-12.
16-12. Listen, congratulations, another fabulous game. There you go, Matthew. You love your score predictions. 16-12 against Astralis at Tempo Storm.
I love storylines that come out of nowhere and capture everyone, because this has now become the group of inconsistency. We knew that there was going to be some questions in this. We didn't expect this answer. Tempo Storm now have a chance to do what Luminosity did. Brazilians potentially could top both groups. But more importantly, we were ruling Virtus Pro out of this. It's now Envy that's out, and Virtus Pro, depending on what happens with FaZe, still have a chance.
Yeah, to make it simple for the viewers, basically what the storyline is now, Astralis and Tempo Storm are playing for who goes, who will be first in that group, while on the other hand, FaZe and VP are playing, who's going to be the last team that makes it out of the groups and into playoffs on that third spot.
Let's focus first. Look, we can talk about the FaZe, or excuse me, the Tempo Storm success, but I want to talk about first and foremost the demise of Envy in this tournament. This is another step down the ladder for them, another team that's starting to hit a slump. What is with Happy picking up the AWP? First gun round, Kenny's on the rifle. Happy goes for a peek, gets his head blown off by an AK of Showtime. They get reset immediately. And why? You have Kenny S as an opper.
That tilted me pretty hard in that first round when I saw that. I was just, it was like my nightmare. It was like a lot of people's nightmare, because we've seen that happen in the past. And I thought we'd moved beyond that kind of strategic decision from Envy.
The problem is, even if it is that, even if it's a strategic decision, we already know that Kenny S is an extremely emotional player, extremely dependent on confidence. Yeah, everyone is, but he even more than others, right? So if you have Happy saying, I'm gonna play with AWP this round, or however that call goes, like, Kenny, you pick up the rifle, that hurts his confidence even more, It's like, why don't you just let me do my job, right?
But therein lies the question in itself. Is it Happy being overbearing, or is it Kenny going to go a set of balls and say, no, it's my AWP?
We don't know, but you can just see from the way they played this tournament, like for that interview with the coach of Tempo Storm, the Brazilian played with a lot of emotions, and you could see them, Lucas jumping up and everything. They're so excited. Envy came out so flat, and all their matches in these tournaments, slow starts. That last map was just completely uninspired by them. They didn't even look like they wanted to be in it. And they just got beat up across the board this whole tournament. It was just like they got put in their place early on and they never fully recovered.
It's not like that this was a fluke by Tempo Storm, or there were a lot of lucky situations going their way. Envy was completely outclassed by Tempo Storm in this game. They were beaten at their own game. They would win pistol, lose second round against the force by. They would lose that early game. The first gun round they won was because the time was because the time ran out, and they were in a 3v1 beforehand. We saw so many blunders from them, as both Henry and Alex pointed out in the cast. MBK jumping on the box, and even after that, when Happy was left in a 1v1.
How do you get two full diffuses against you 2 rounds?
Like for the second one, it's like he froze or the server froze for a second. I don't know. I don't want to get into that right now.
But we can't.
We don't have clear information. But for the first one, I guess he thought, because the smoke was a little bit to the right, he thought that he will 100% see him if he tries to defuse from any position. Yeah. But he went straight into the smoke. Happy probably peeked, didn't see him, presumed that he was off the bomb. I don't know where he could disappear at that point, and the player from Tempo Storm just held it and then got the defuse.
On the other side of the things, you see these Brazilian teams in Tempo Storm in this matchup, they play situationals like 3-on-3s so well. They don't give up a lot of mistakes in those. I mean, towards the end, I know it seemed like there were a couple rounds when they had gotten up to 14 or 15 that they got a little bit, it seemed like they got excited, just like that kind of, can't believe we're actually here in like this 14-6 situation, and then they got a little peaky. But before that, leading up to that 14th or 15th round, it was all like just waiting for your teammates to come with you before you even try and make a play, baiting EnVyUs forward and not giving up any mistake and not giving them any kind of free kills.
Okay, go ahead.
And you also, it's also obvious that they had a good idea of what Envy likes to do on their T side. You could see after EnVyUs lost the pistol and force bot, they were playing with 2 guys defensively towards the ticket box, on the CT side. EnVyUs went for the smoke strat. They just played passively, spammed through the smoke, through the counter nades, got I think 2 free kills before anything even happened, you know. And EnVyUs going into the situation with 2 men down, pushing toward jungle to get a couple of kills, they're already at a deficit. So they, even from a strategical point of view, they played this round really well.
I was going to ask if this is sort of perhaps something, a trait of teams that want to prove themselves. You look at Dignitas right now. Now, of course, they didn't qualify for the major despite being the favorite in many situations, in many cases. I'm wondering if that's the end of their honeymoon period, but they as well don't have an ego. They know that it has to be a team effort. They know they have to play as a team to win. And whereas we see these top teams like EnVyUs and sometimes Astralis, where it's almost like they have to force out this individual skill because they think they have to be the hero. They're so used to winning that they get a little carried away with it.
It's one of those situations. I actually kind of draw a parallel to when NIP was so dominant for a while, and then all the teams started catching up in the individual skill department, and they dropped off like immediately after that. Now you have all these teams who are starting to get really good on the tactical side and everything like that, and now that they're catching up in the individual level, like when you're not giving up mistakes, there's no headshots for Envy to hit. You know, that game from Tempo Storm, they didn't provide a lot of openings for Envy to take advantage of in those situations. So now, I mean, this time where these top teams can get away, but it's based off just massive skill gaps, it's gone.
And the problem is players can really be stubborn about this, right? So many players will say after a game like that, you know, from the EnVyUs point of view, we just didn't hit our shots. They were just really on point with their aim and so on. But some players fail to realize that they are put in unfavorable situations because of the tactics, because of the strat, because of what happens on the map, right? Sometimes you're simply in a situation where no matter how good your aim is, you will not get a favorable trade there, right? So it's important for players to be aware of this. That's the only way you can improve, work on your mistakes, and, you know, avoid things like this from happening.
And Henny, I got to give a shout out to. We saw Lucas, by the way, for those who don't know. Interesting story. We talked about telepathic communication yesterday. If there's any 2 players in the world that would be, Lucas is actually Henny's twin brother. But Henny had a fantastic game. Another one finally showing up at a big moment against the top team. This was one of the things people started to doubt.
He's preferred Hen 1.
He is preferring Hen 1?
Just before we get on that train,
I thought
let's establish it for him here.
I'll rather call him H than anything else. Like, what's Hen 1? Do you hear how ridiculous that sounds, Moses?
Yeah.
Hey, Hen 1, great game by you. Just call him Annie.
I don't know. I like
a little bit of the silent H.
I like the whole what is Benny versus Spenny versus whatever, the Henny versus Kenny aspect of this. You know, reference game not even close to on point. Let's look at the standings because this is now going to be extremely interesting. It always is. I always get back there. So Astralis, despite being 4-0, and remember Tempo is overtime away from being in the same position. They can still win the group, Tempo, because if they beat Astralis, that's their next matchup. It means they both sit 4-1 and head-to-head. Well, Tempo Storm wins it. Pretty straightforward. But the rest of it is still up for grabs. EnVyUs play eFrag. It's an inconsequential game because the best they can do is therefore tie Virtus Pro or FaZe. And no matter which it is, they lost those 2 games. So they're out, regardless. The head-to-head does not favor them. They'll play eFrag. Remember, there is still a $1,000 bonus for each game you play, so they can play for some pride and a little bit extra cash. They're still going to be heavily disappointed, I imagine, EnVyUs. But Virtus Pro up against FaZe is a head-to-head for 3rd place in the group.
Yeah, the only thing we missed here is if Tempo Storm loses to Astralis and FaZe beats VP, FaZe will get to the 2nd place and Tempo Storm will get to... I mean, the same teams will go through, but the seedings will be a bit different because of the head-to-head.
Yeah, so it is interesting as too, because the other side of it, remember, we said Luminosity won that group. Fnatic was 2nd. They'll play 3rd from this group, so and therefore Na'Vi would play 2nd from this group. So it still does dictate quite a bit for.
It's really important not to be 3rd in this group.
I would say so.
I love this format.
It's fun. It's great. It's a lot of
fun. So many good matches.
So far, we were lucky that we didn't have to deal with tiebreakers, right? That's the, you know...
I want a tiebreaker. I want a tiebreaker so bad.
I mean, you want to see it, man, because it hasn't... Something like this didn't happen for a long time, but going back to 1.6 and IEM, that was a real pain in the behind, right?
Was it the same tiebreaker format, or didn't they do like rounds 4 or something?
Sorry?
Didn't they do like rounds 4 back then, or was it the same kind of format where it's just like the overtime?
I mean, even it was... Yeah, that was the biggest problem with the format, because if you use just round difference, then is it just between the teams, but which map is it? It's not the same if you play train.
Now we got this fake overtime hype.
Yeah.
Ready.
It is ready. A cool system. For those who don't know,
it's really
the 3-way tie system basically would come down to 3 teams, 1 map. They all veto to figure out which map it is, and the first 2 teams join in. You play an MR3 overtime. Winner of that stays. The 3rd team joins in, and if the same person wins twice, whoever wins twice wins the tie break. So it's pretty interesting system. I don't know that we are going to get there, though, because this head-to-head between FaZe and Virtus Pro,
It's just as good.
absolutely. I mean, this essentially is a tiebreaker in its own. It does dictate a lot of what rides on this. That's the game we're going to bring you. We're going to take a quick break. Don't forget to get the plays.tv highlights sent to me on Twitter for your chance to win some Shadow Daggers, and download the Score Esports app, because trust me, if this whole standing thing seems confusing to you, they've got all the storylines that will keep you in check. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.